Hey guys, it's Sony and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be reading a book in the Usborn Reading Collection. Today I'm reading The Phantom of the Opera. Chapter 1. The Opera House. The Phantom of the Opera isn't just another ghost story. The phantom really existed, secretly roaming in the grand halls of the Paris Opera House. And the air of the Opera House was humming with excitement. It was the first night under new management. Voices were warming up with high trills, and stage hands were milling around looking for props. The star of the show, Carlotta, stomped around complaining. "I said red grapes, you fool! How can I be expected to sing?" she wailed. "To no one in particular. When my throat hurts from all the smoke in this horrible city?" Down the corridor from Carlotta, dancers fussed and filled with their costumes. But in one dressing room, the evening's performance was the last thing anyone was thinking about. "I heard the ghost has different heads, that he changes as he pleases," said one of the dancers. "I've heard he has no nose," cried another, whose nose was widely amused. "I thought he was a skeleton." "You're all wrong," said a third dancer smugly. "I've seen the phantom with my very own eyes." The others turned to stare at her. "He has one head and you could mistake him for a gentleman and his long black coat and fine hat. But I don't know about his nose because his face was covered with a mask." "A mask?" the girls cried. The dancer paused dramatically. "They say the phantom's face is so horrific and so frightening. It will make a grown man weep." "Oh!" screamed the girls. "Enough of that nonsense," interrupted Madame G, who is in charge of the show. "We have a Chris. Carlotta is refusing to sing." The girls began to whisper among themselves. They dragged a shy girl named Kristen over to Madame G. "Kristen can do it. Go on." "But she doesn't know the part," cried Madame. "I do," said Kristen softly. "I sing it every night after the show." Madame looked her up and down and sighed. "What choice do I have? Well, get into the costume. Go!" Chapter 2. A surprising voice. The audience waited eagerly in their red velvet seats. They gazed up at the huge glass chandelier suspended from the painted ceiling. Slowly, the lights dimmed. The curtains went up and the stage and the cast swarmed onto the vast stage. Their voices filled the air like a chorus of angels, and their bright costumes glittered as they danced. When Christine walked on, the stage became dark and silent. a single light shone on her. She opened her mouth and sang from her heart. It was the sweetest, most beautiful sound. When she finished, there was a silence for a moment before loud applause erupted. The noise rang dizzily in Christine's ears, and she fainted. The audience watched in silence as Kristen's limp body was picked up and carried off stage. She was placed in a chair in her dressing room. Madame G thrust smelling salts under her nose, and she blinked open her eyes. "My dear, you are magnificent," said Madame G, fanning her with a handkerchief. "And you have a visitor. He's a count," she whispered excitedly before rushing out. A handsome young man came into the room. "Miss," he said, tipping his hat. "Count, do you excuse me?" Kristen said, trying to stand up. "No, please rest," said the Count. "You had quite turn." "I just came to say," he went on, "I'm a huge fan of the opera and I thought you were wonderful. You should sing every night." Kristen blushed. "I was just standing in for Carlotta. You're a million times better than her," she declared. "Anyway, I better go. Good night." The Count shut the door behind him and leaned against it for a moment. He could hear a deep male voice coming from a room. "But there was no one else in there," he mumbled. He had his ear to the door when a couple of dancers came by, so he quickly walked away. Chapter 3. The Phantom Demands. "What is the meaning of this?" The new manager of the opera house waved a piece of paper at Madame G. "It's the Phantom," she said nervously. "I tell the girls he isn't real, but the truth is, I've worked here for 20 years and I have always given in to him." She shuddered. "If we don't, he'll make big trouble. Oh, and I forgot to read what is on the piece of paper, so let's read it. Demand of the sum of 20,000 francs per month. PJ. Carlotta sings like a toad. I want to hear Kristen sing every night or else. ... P. Phantom? You mean a ghost? said the manager. Huh. If some crook who skulls around my opera house thinks he can swindle money out of me, he's got another thing coming. Suddenly, the door swung open and a stagehand burst in. It's Pico. He's been taken. Pico was the manager beloved pet dog. My little Pico. Pico, what? How? Spluttered the manager. I heard Pico barking and saw a man in a cloak in the shadows. Madame G shivered. It's the Phantom. Mark my words. Manager, pay up quickly or something dreadful will happen. 4. The last chapter I'll be reading today. Angel of the Music. Angel of Music. The Count was hovering by Kristen's dressing room. He had heard about the Phantom and was worried about her, especially after hearing the strange voice in her room the week before. "Count!" Kristen almost walked into him as she came out. She looked around nervously and blocked his view into her room. "Can I help you?" she asked with a bright smile. "I just wanted to make sure you were all right after fainting last week." He paused as he heard the same deep voice coming from her room. "Who's that?" "Oh, no one," Kristen thrilled. "I'm fine, thank you, but I must dash." And she shut the door in his face. The cat was more puzzled than ever, so he hid behind some costumes and decided to wait. After a few minutes, Kristen came out dressed in a hooded cloak. She rushed down the corridor and out of the opera house. The Count followed her along dark, lamplit streets until they reached a small, gloomy graveyard. The moonlight cast creepy shadows on the ancient stone graves. The Count watched as Kristen knelt by a grave. The church bells began to chime midnight. Sad violin music floated on the air. Kristen swayed and sang along to the music as if in a trance. The Count was captivated until he felt a hand on his shoulder that chilled him into the bone. He looked into a pair of blood-red eyes and let out a scream. "Ah! The eyes! So red!" the Count spluttered. As he spoke, the figure vanished. "Count? What eyes? What are you talking about?" asked Kristen, running over him. "And the violin. Did you hear the violin?" said the Count, dazed. Kristen looked afraid. "Yes, I did," she admitted, "but I don't know who's playing. I come here to sing at my father's grave. Before he died, he told me an angel of music would visit me." "And has one?" The Count opened his eyes wide. "He comes to the opera house," she said. "He taught me everything I know about singing, but I've never seen him." So the voice I heard, yes, that was him. "He says I'll be the most famous singer in Paris. Will you keep it a secret?" The Count looked serious. "If you want me to," he said. "Now let me walk you back. It's late." That was the end of chapter 4. If you want to see more videos like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you can see my channel and more videos like this. Bye guys!